studio in very, very, very hot, although now it's raining and it's not quite as hot as it was, outside of Boston, Massachusetts. And I am here because I am seeking first readers, Petal Harp players, first readers for a new publication that I'm working on. And I want to tell you about it. And I want to show you what it's like. So I created a set of warm-ups for myself when I was a pedal harpist that would allow me to work all the parts of my fingers and to also develop more facility in modulating. And for years, I've been trying to get them all written out. And finally, I've been working with a team, my legacy project team, and we've got them written out and we've got them ready. But we need first readers, so intermediate or advanced intermediate or advanced players to actually take a look at these before we publish them. And we're hoping to publish them like really soon, like by the end of June. So I want to show you what they're like. There are 3 warm-ups and they go from all flats to all sharps. These are the pedal harp versions. We are also working on a lever harp version, which I'm hoping to have ready for publication by the time I get to the Somerset Harp Festival in the middle of July. But this is the pedal harp version, the first version that I created. And what it does, it gives me the opportunity to practice arpeggios, scales, cascading arpeggios, and then classical techniques. So I'm just going to show you a little bit. Each exercise goes from flats to sharp, but I'm just going to show you what it looks like in the key of C. It goes to all these different keys. So the arpeggio exercise goes like this. So I haven't warmed up yet today, so I'm still warming up. And then it goes to the next key. Now I'm in F, the same pattern, and so on and so forth. It goes to all the keys. Now later on, we're going to be releasing versions of this that are like, and then it will change to this, and so on and so forth. But right now, we're working on the basic ones, the very first ones that I created. So they're almost like classical techniques, but they open up the world of sort of jazz-oriented modulation. They're also really great for anybody who's transitioning from the lever harp up to the pedal harp. It just gives you the chance to practice that. So anyway, there's arpeggios, and I'll actually show you the music in a second. There's arpeggios, and then there's scales, which I'm super terrible at. So you'll get an idea. It's just like this, like. And then there's this arpeggio section. And then, so it combines scales and then one kind of arpeggio and then another kind of arpeggio. So that goes up and then it goes back down. And then there's a classical version where I really wanted to just like kind of work the, you know, that part of my hand. Let's see if I can do that one. So that one's more like this. And now I've modulated up to the key of G, and so on and so forth. So they're going up and down. What we need is, it's all written out and basically ready to be published, but we just need to have somebody look at it again and just see if there's anything that we missed. So the way to do that with me is you can put something in the comments. I know that this is being broadcast on several different channels. I might not see what you write in the comments, but you can always reach out to my Ask a Question form, which I forgot to make a little QR code for you to do that. But you can go to hipharp.com. That's hip as in cool, harp as in the instrument.com/ask. and my ask a question form is there. If you're on Facebook watching this, I will probably get your comment, but I definitely get it in the ask a question form. So, and before I leave, I'll put that, I'll try to put that in the, well, I don't know how this works. Anyway, so, but let me take you in the behind the scenes and take a look at the music. All right, so here we go. I'm going to press a button that's going to make a difference. Okay, here we go. Pressing the button, sharing the screen. My entire screen. Okay, well, we don't know what we will see. It's always dangerous, huh? When you share your whole screen. But, okay, entire screen. Let's see. Well, here we go. All right. Well, it's infinite me. All right, so the sheet music, what you'll be looking at, you'll be looking at our working copy. So you'll be seeing, this is just a Google Doc, and you'll be able to add comments on it. I was just testing that out. So you'll be able to see a sense of what the sheet music is, and the note from the composer, why I created this. These comments are here. Some people have already given comments. How to sort of approach the general performance notes, and then how to play the warm-ups and how they might be used. So this is what the sheet music is going to look like, and the special thanks. Oh, and if you're the first reader, you will get to be in our special thanks, our first readers. Here's our first readers, and you'll be also part of those first readers. And then you'll see the chart. We have a chart that kind of helps you organize if you want to start getting off the page. First, we show you on the page, and then there's a way for you to get off the page to do the warm-ups. So at the beginning of each warm-up, it kind of tells you what my goals were when I created these arpeggios for myself. Like my goal here was to have a relaxed and rigorous workout that worked both my hands and my fingers equally, and to develop familiarity with the 2-5-1 progression in every key, so I could easily recognize them in jazz tunes, and have a foundation for altering the dominant chord, and get comfortable with quickly shifting from key to key through the circle of fifths, and later on going to more distant keys. So this is just kind of it's really a foundation. And the sheet music itself looks like this. You have the going up pattern and then the coming down pattern. So you get to practice those first in the key of C, and then you get to take them from C flat all the way up to C sharp and down again. So those are the arpeggios. The second, and again, this is just our working copy. So you will, you'll get to link to the sheet music from here. In the second warm-up is these scales and cascading inversion arpeggios. And why did I create these? To strengthen my facility, especially with the crossing under from the 1 to 4 finger, because I tend to play all the scalar passages with just fingers 1, 2, 3. So I really wanted to develop that. Oh, this is just a different part of it. I also wanted to develop this kind of arpeggio, and then I wanted to get stronger at these particular downward cascading arpeggios. So this sheet music, you can see that starts with scales, and then it's got these, this kind of arpeggio, and then it's got these cascading down inversions. Arpeggios. So it combines all of those, and there's a going up pattern, and then there's a coming down pattern, because you're, so when you going up, meaning going from all the flat keys to all the sharp keys, and then in order to modulate back down, you sometimes have to have a different pattern. So that's the scalar ones. And like I said, hopefully this will really be available for people to actually purchase by next week. Right now, we're still looking for first readers to help us, just take a look at it before we publish it. And then again, when we publish a sheet music, there's not going to be links. It'll actually get a PDF of the sheet music. Finally, the warm-up 3 is the classical style. And what were my goals? I wanted to develop my ear to hear secondary dominants and where they were modulating to. And I wanted to use my favorite finger patterns from classical pieces, like the Handel Concerto, but in a more in a way that would work both of my hands more completely. So this one is really interesting because that's not it. It's not even remotely it. Okay. All right. Let's go here and let's take a look. Link to the sheet music. I'm hoping it's Yeah, this should be the right sheet music. All right, so this is kind of interesting because I wanted to not only be able to warm up my hands, but I wanted to develop my understanding of harmony, and I wanted, and especially my secondary dominance. So if you don't know what that means, you will by the time you play these for a while. So my first idea was that we would say these out loud. I would say these out loud to develop my understanding of harmony as I was going and as I went to each different key. But actually, I just play them because they're so fun to play. And this is also really interesting. So you can either play it with both hands, so both hands get a workout, or you can get a better sense of how it moves harmonically by using these bass notes. And you can also use these bass notes to create different left-hand patterns. So this one is really interesting as well, and it's got quite a different going up pattern and coming down pattern because, well, I just had to do that in order to be able to modulate up and down. So again, where am I coming back here? All right. So again, I'm here tonight because I'm looking for at least one or two intermediate to advanced intermediate or advanced or professional players who will take a look at this music as my first readers before we publish it, hopefully next week. And that's it. That's why I came here tonight. So it should be explained in the post. If it's not explained in the post, you can always use my Ask a Question form. And I'm just going to say that once again. It's hipharp.com/ask. So that's hip as in cool, harp as in the instrument.com/ask. So you can let me know if you are someone who will be one of my first readers. I may be able to take comments here or questions here. So if you do have a question, or I don't know if you got a question, here I am in my studio, and it's we just had a thunderstorm. Pretty exciting. It's much cooled down than it's been in the last couple days. I'll tell you, tuning this baby was definitely interesting after the humidity and the heat wave. That was really fun. But notice I did not lose any strings, which is really exciting. Any questions before I head off for the night? I can see that there are people here, but I don't know where you are because this publishes to a bunch of different places, to Facebook and others. Anyway, I do want to show you something that's kind of fun. Like once you get these, where we're going with these exercises is these are the fundamentals. And then like I explained before, once you get the pattern, the 2-5-1 pattern and how it moves around, then you can do all kinds of different things with it. Like you can start learning how to play, for example, you can start developing some of the techniques that will make it easier to play jazz tunes. And you will be learning the harmonies as you're doing it. Again, this is the next step beyond. Now, the fundamentals are what we're just about to publish. But it's really cool because once you do learn those fundamentals, then it starts teaching you how to do things like this, like create patterns. Pattern with the left hand. This is a pattern. So that's a pattern with my left hand that I can then improvise over with my right hand. And I can also create patterns with my right hand. Like that's just a sequence. I'm not saying it's a great melody or anything, but it allows me to. Et cetera. So you can once you get these basic patterns, then as we go on, we'll start giving more complex patterns, and then how the patterns can fit between the right and the left hand. This whole pattern thing, we're just about to start the quarter in Hip Harp Academy that's called The Power of Pattern. So every quarter I focus on a different sort of overlying concept of music, self-expression, and improvisation. And the quarter that we just got out of was all about grounded expansion. So that meant, like really thinking about how we're grounding and then how we're expanding from that. And the quarter that's coming up is, again, it's called The Power of Pattern. So we're looking at, how do patterns give you freedom? I mean, I'm always looking at how do you get freedom? Because we always get locked up in like what we think we're supposed to do, or complexity, or all the different flavors of fear and insecurity and confusion, all of those things. And there are different ways to get either grounded or have a framework. So a framework for freedom. So structure is part of freedom. Grounding is part of freedom and expansion. The power of patterns gives you freedom, gives you facility, lets you shift from, oh, what am I doing with my fingers, to I'm doing something simple with my fingers. It's similar to walking. We no longer have to think about, my left foot there, now my right foot is here. And that allows you to dance while you're walking, or sing while you're walking, or have a conversation while you're walking. We want to get there with music so that we can have communication and we can have connection while we're playing music. And part of that is developing patterns. Part of that is developing practices that can ground us. So that's what I'm doing in the teaching part of my life. I mean, I'm a composer and I'm also a performer, but I am also coaching and teaching people, which is amazing because, as you start teaching or creating teaching materials, then you start learning more about how you've created your own freedom, or how you've created your own self-expression. And then when you're more aware of it, or when I'm more aware of it, I'm able to find those places where I've hidden, and start opening those parts up. And when we start opening more parts of ourselves up, then we become more resonant human beings. And it's funny when I say that. I remember hearing, when I first started playing the harp, and I started as an adult, I remember somebody saying, when you get a new harp, as you play it, it changes, it opens up, its resonance opens up, and almost like it takes on your resonance, or it's, I don't know, it gets stretched. And now that I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking, wait a minute, is it actually the harp that gets more resonance, or is it me? Or is it the relationship between the two of them? So these are all the things that I love exploring. I've been exploring them all my life, and I'm still exploring them, and I will continue to explore them. And they're things that I get to explore with you. I get to explore with you if you're in my audience. I get to explore with you if you play my music, because I love hearing what people do with my music, and I get to explore them with all the people who are in the Hip Harp Academy where I teach. And I'm getting to explore them with you right now here on this live event from my studio. So thank you for being there, because if you weren't there, I wouldn't be talking to you. And if I wasn't talking to you, I wouldn't have said those things tonight. And then I would not be thinking about them in the same way. So even just knowing that you're there makes a difference in my own exploration, because I feel like we're exploring together. I really do. I mean, I know we are. So thank you for being part of that. And I really am hoping that I will hear from at least a couple of you who are willing to be first readers of this music so that we can get it out into the world. Finally, literally, I've been trying to do this for like 20 or 30 years. People have been asking for it. Finally, it's like this far away from being ready. And then once we publish this, the lever harp version is not far behind. So hopefully both of them within the next 2 or 3 weeks. With your help. Okay, thank you again. Hip harp, hip is in cool, harp is in the instrument.com/ask is my ask a question form. You can get to me and let me know if you are one of my first readers for this new piece of music. And I look forward to, I always get really self-conscious when I'm about to end. I know why. I just realized why. Because if you were here in my house, I would give you a hug. Yeah, so I'll start thinking about that. Like, how can I hug you or feel like I'm hugging you from here, from the internet? Okay, I'll be thinking about that. All right. I hope I see you soon.